Hi, and welcome to this live reading from Firewall by Jessica Mehring, and this is presented by Itsy Bitsy Book Bits. Chapter 1, Veronica. Veronica Clark put her black kitten heels up on her desk, gazed out over the San Francisco skyline, and nudged her earbuds into her ears as she dialed Kara's number. As the call rang through, she took a deep breath and enjoyed the view. She couldn't quite see San Francisco Bay. There were too many towers in the financial district between her and the water. But she could feel in her bones the call of the salt water. "Tell me you're not working late," Kara said on the other end of the line without even a hello. Veronica laughed. "I don't plan on it. Just have a few more things to finish up and my weekend can officially begin. And I can finally get out to Ocean Beach for some surfing tomorrow." "That's what I like to hear. I've got one more class to teach and I'm ready to party. Let's kick it off with martinis at Largo, 6 o'clock? Veronica frowned. "It's been a long week. I'm not really up for socializing." "You say that every weekend," Kara said. "And every weekend I drag you out with me and we have fun. Stop arguing." Veronica could practically hear Kara's eyes rolling when she spoke. "Fine," she sighed. "It'll take me about an hour to get home, get changed, and catch a ride. Let's make it 6:30 just to be safe." "You can just go to the bar looking like an FBI agent. There's nothing wrong with that," Kara chided. "Says the school marm," Veronica laughed. "Besides, I don't look like an agent. I look like a high-end lawyer. Get it right." "At least we clean up nice," Kara said. "Did I tell you that Angus came to our family dinner with a big streak of soot on his face last Saturday?" "Teacher, firefighter, your family is like a Norman Rockwell painting. I'm sure even the sooty face was endearing." I wish this was a video call so you could see just how much I'm rolling my eyes right now. "Save the attitude for your history students. I'll see you tonight. Later, skater." Veronica smiled and hit the end call button. She took a deep breath and stared out the window. It was mid-afternoon on a sunny September day, and the sun was high overhead, giving the city an angelic glow. The autumn season made Veronica miss sunny San Diego. This was the best time of year for good weather in San Francisco, but these sunny days were the norm back home. Veronica was all smiles when she hung up the phone. But it didn't last long. She heard the door open behind her, and she spun in her chair, knowing she'd be face-to-face with Sunset Financial CEO Craig Truman. He was the only person at the company who would dare walk into her office without knocking. "What's this request for data isolation software?" he demanded, throwing a piece of paper down on Veronica's glass desk. Without looking at the paper, she answered, "We need a data vault." "Why?" he growled. "So hackers won't steal our data." "Isn't it your job to make sure hackers can't steal our data? Should I replace you with a whatever you just called it?" "Data vault, for isolating data. It keeps hackers from accessing, stealing, and selling Sunset's data. Pretty straightforward. We don't have one. We need one. I talked that company into a good deal." Veronica put her index finger on the paper on her desk and pushed it toward Craig. "It's too expensive. Compared to the cost of paying cyber criminals a ransom to get some of Sunset's data back, it's a steal." "Did Devin sign off on this?" "Devin is the only one who could have approved the purchase order you're holding in your hands." Veronica leaned back in her chair and crossed her legs. "What's the problem, Craig? This is necessary for the security of the company. The CFO approved the purchase. I don't understand why you're so worked up." "In the 3 years you've been here, our spending on information security has tripled. Newman sang your praises when he hired you, but he's gone now, and Travis and I don't like where our spending is headed." "Travis, that answers the question." Veronica sat forward, and a lock of blonde hair escaped her neat bun. She tucked it behind her ear. "Let me ask you this. Has Sunset been in the news for any data breaches in the last 3 years? Craig hesitated. "No." "What about your competitors? Have you seen them in the news for data breaches? Craig's frown deepened. "Yes." Veronica smiled serenely. "You're welcome. And you can tell Travis that my in-budget spending is what's keeping him in his cushy new chief technology officer role. His head would be on the chopping block, and so would yours, if we had a breach." A knock on the door made them both turn. One of the wealth managers from the third floor was standing in the doorway. "Sorry to interrupt," he said, his face turning red as he recognized the CEO. "Veronica, we're getting server timeouts, and Gary and Boyd are both out today. Can you come take a look?" Veronica stood and smoothed her fitted black blazer. That's my cue. Have a good weekend, Craig. She nodded at him as she passed and resisted the urge to slam her office door behind her. The wealth manager kept pace with her as she walked down the long cubicle-lined hall toward the elevators. You're braver than I am, he said in a hushed tone. Why do you say that? Veronica raised an eyebrow in his direction. Every time I'm in his presence, I feel like he's going to fire me on a whim. How can you be so calm? I surf, Veronica said with a laugh. It's hard to feel anxious about anything after a few hours on the water. The wealth manager shivered. Surfing in these icy waters? So that's it. You're just a glutton for punishment. They came to a stop at the elevators, and she turned to him with a sly grin. I like a challenge, she said, pushing the button to go down. Also, it helps that this isn't the only job in the world for someone with my skills and experience. As they stepped into the elevator, Veronica felt the wealth manager's eyes on her. Are you interviewing? He whispered, nervously glancing around as if he were looking for cameras. Let's just say I've always got a backup plan, she answered with a wink. And the standing offer at Pacific Wealth Management doesn't hurt my confidence either. As the elevator descended, she turned that offer over in her mind. It'd be a good gig, but she'd have to commute or move to Daly City, and she'd come to love living in San Francisco, especially since she met her best friend, Kara. It was Kara who brought her out of the shell she'd been in since her dad died. And it was Kara who had taught her how to find joy on dry land. She owed her too much to up and move away. Better to stick it out here and deal with Craig's growing ego. Besides, the Pacific job isn't going anywhere.